All right, let's talk about how AI is learning to do something kind of wild. It's learning to understand, predict, and even create that invisible force that drives culture and commerce, the vibe. I mean, really think about it. What if you could actually bottle up a feeling? That specific energy you get from a song or a city street or, yeah, a fashion collection. It's something we all just get. But what happens when you take that totally abstract human feeling and you feed it to a machine as training data? Well, that's exactly what's happening right now. And it's about to completely flip entire industries on their head. Let's break down how. Okay, first things first. We've got to be clear here. When we talk about AI and vibe, we're not just getting all poetic about it. Nope. We're talking about a real technical concept with some seriously powerful applications. So, in the world of AI, a vibe is basically the emotional bullseye. Instead of a developer having to code every single little detail, they can now just give a simple human instruction like, make this website feel minimalist and calm. The AI takes that feeling and generates the whole design. It's a huge shift from just programming logic to actually programming a mood. And you know where this whole vibe thing is an absolute powerhouse? The world of fashion. I mean, trend-driven consumption is the engine that makes that entire industry go. It's that urge to buy something not because you need it, but because it just feels right for right now. It's the economy of a collective vibe. So, if we want to get how an AI can predict the future of fashion, we first have to look at how it learned to understand the past. And this is where it gets really cool. A groundbreaking study did exactly that. They pointed an AI at 500 years of art history and basically asked it, find the hidden patterns, find that evolving vibe that connects all of it. The researchers basically taught the AI to look at art in two different ways. First, there was what they called the A vector. This was all about form, what the art literally looks like. Think colors, brushstrokes, shapes, that kind of thing. But then there was the C vector, and this one was all about context. What is the art about? Is it a portrait, a landscape, a religious scene? It's the story inside the frame. And what they found was, wow, it was incredible. When the AI tried to organize all this art by its look and style, the A vector, it was just a total mess. You had different eras all jumbled together. But when it organized the exact same paintings by their context, by what they were about, they fell into an almost perfect timeline. The story behind the art was a way clearer signal of its era than what it looked like on the surface. The AI had literally found the vibe of history. And look, this wasn't just some lucky guess or a cool-looking visual. The numbers back it up. That contextual C vector was over 4 times more accurate at predicting a painting's creation date than the formal A vector. So here's the big takeaway. An era's vibe, its context, is a much more powerful signature than its style alone. Okay, so AI can get the vibe of a whole era. That's huge. But can it learn something even more crucial for trends in fashion? What we as humans find beautiful? Crazily enough, the answer seems to be, yeah, it can. Researchers took a bunch of different AI models, totally separate ones, and showed them images that people had rated as beautiful. And what they found was fascinating. Even though these AIs were all trained differently, they started to think about the beautiful images in a really similar way. They called it representational alignment. It's like they all independently stumbled upon some hidden, common pattern in what we find pleasing to the eye. And this wasn't just on the surface either. For the beautiful images, the AIs agreed on a deep, structural level, in the more abstract middle layers of their networks. But for the images people found ugly, that agreement just vanished. This tells us the AI isn't just matching colors or shapes. It's learning to recognize a much deeper, maybe even universal concept of beauty. So what happens when you take an AI that gets historical context, combine it with one that understands beauty, and then you point it straight at the fashion industry? Well, you get a seismic shift. This is the moment where all that theory becomes a seriously powerful tool for designing the future. Let me introduce you to a concept called synthetic seasonality. This is a game changer. Instead of just reacting to trends as they happen, brands are now starting to manufacture them ahead of time. They're feeding their AI models all this predictive data, color forecasts, cultural sentiment from social media, economic shifts, to basically pre-train the model on the vibe of a season that hasn't even happened yet. And here's how it actually works. First, the AI just soaks up all this data about the future. Then, it fine-tunes digital models to perfectly embody that future vibe. From there, brands can generate entire photo shoots for, say, a 2027 collection, and they can do it today. And here's the killer part. They can test those AI-generated looks online to see how people react before a single thread is ever sewn. This quote just nails the new reality perfectly. Latent space, that's basically the AI's imagination. It's its internal map of ideas, styles, and concepts. The advantage isn't about having the fastest factories anymore. It's about having the fastest, most creative AI. It's not about making clothes faster. It's about coming up with the winning idea faster.
But this incredible new power brings up a massive question. What are the real-world consequences when we put our entire trend cycle on hyperdrive?
I mean, if you look at the history of how we consume things, it's just a story of faster and faster. We went from seasonal style changes, 4 times a year, to the fast fashion model where cycles were measured in weeks. Then social media came along and created micro trends that can live and die in a matter of days. AI, well, it looks like the next and maybe the final stage of this massive acceleration. And this puts us at a huge fork in the road. On one hand, this technology has this incredible promise of sustainability. If you can test everything digitally, you could basically eliminate overproduction and all the waste from physical samples. That's the dream. But on the other hand, it could just create a hyper-accelerated trend cycle that makes the worst parts of fast fashion, the disposability, the waste, even worse. And the stakes here are so high. When a trend can be born, go viral, and die in the span of a week, it speeds up everything down the supply chain. We're talking about accelerated resource depletion, more water, more cotton. We're talking about literal mountains of textile waste. It normalizes this idea of a throwaway culture for our clothes. And of course, it puts unbelievable pressure on the people in the supply chains, where the human cost of that speed is very, very real. So, this is the ultimate question we're all left with, isn't it? We have built a machine that can understand and generate the vibe that drives our culture. Are we going to use it to design a more thoughtful, more sustainable world? Or are we just going to use it to accelerate our consumption off a cliff? The technology is here. The choice? That's on us.